This break is brought to you by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, head on over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Is Bungie working on an MMO? Well, it looks that way. A contract leak from the creators of the Halo franchise has revealed some new information. On the line, I've got Jason Winter to tell us more. Jason?
Well, the overarching title of these game products is called Destiny, and info about it was leaked from Activision's contract with Bungie in response to the whole Infinity Ward Wes Zampella lawsuit. But it explains that Bungie will be making 4, and I quote, massively multiplayer-style, client-based mission structures with persistent elements, sci-fantasy action shooter games. And that's all going to start around 2013. They're going to release 4 games every other year until 2019.
Wow, that's a mouthful. So staggering these different properties, and we only know that the one is Xbox exclusive, right?
Right. The first one, it says initially exclusive on Xbox 360. I haven't quite figured out if that means just period outright, or if they're going to do something kind of like what Dust 514 I think is doing with PlayStation 3, where it's going to be initially just on that and come later. So that point of it kind of makes me think that maybe this first one isn't going to be an MMO, because I just never heard of an MMO exclusive to the Xbox 360.
But it's definitely possible. I mean, it would be a first.
Sure.
But, well, it wouldn't be first, but it would definitely be possible. I mean, any other more description in there on exactly what this Xbox 360 exclusive would be like?
Well, one other interesting thing they mentioned is they actually include provisions for the next console, the Xbox 720 as they call it. So, and it says, let's see, the parties also currently contemplate the development and commercial release of Destiny game #1 for the PlayStation 3 console in the fall of 2014. There's a provision about unit sales where they get a bonus if they sell a certain number, which again kind of makes it sound not like an MMO. You think that'd be more tied to total revenue or monthly subscriptions or something like that. So,
but we have heard about Bungie hinting at kind of making a persistent world game, right? Were they looking for jobs on their job listing or something?
Yeah, that's right. They actually had they listed jobs for people with RPG experience, and one of their executives said at GDC a few years ago, "Wouldn't it be great to have a persistent world game or something like that?" So it's definitely they're definitely going to do one somewhere, whether it's going to be the first Destiny game or one a little later down the road. That's still something we have yet to know.
Wouldn't it be great for Halo in space? I mean, they've got such a great IP already. I mean, Bungie's got Halo. Why not just adapt that to an MMO?
You know, I totally agree with you. I mean, all the way back in 2008, Bungie stated that a Halo MMO would be challenging and that it would require the creation of, as they said, a whole new layer of fiction and characters that don't currently exist. But they also admitted that it's been discussed at Bungie in heated discussions, which, again, you know, talking about the whole new layer of fiction and characters that don't exist, well, yeah, that's kind of what games like Old Republic have had to do with their adapting their IPs, or what Elder Scrolls Online looks like they're going to do. So that, to me, doesn't seem like a big deal. I guess the thing is they just got to start they're creating a whole new property, probably have all sorts of media stuff planned for it, want it to be this big multi-platform, multi-genre experience, and maybe they're finding that as a better idea than just trying to wedge an MMO structure into the Halo universe.
Well, now I gotta bring up that, you know, we have this little show called Legendary. We're talking about a little game called World of Warcraft. I don't know if you've heard of it, by some company Blizzard. It's a really small little company. They don't really do too much. Not many people play their games. But we've heard, about some of the Bungie people working over there, and we've also heard about this, game called Titan coming out. We've heard it being rumored as MMOFPS sci-fi. This would be, now we hear about Destiny, which we've heard about the name before. I don't know. I mean, could we be talking about the same title? I mean, would Activision really have 2 MMOFPS, both sci-fi related, in the works at the same time?
That is interesting. I mean, it certainly could be that they are the same, but just the fact that they're, and obviously this contract was leaked, obviously, like I said, it was leaked. It wasn't intended to be put out. So it could be that they are discussing Titan under the name Destiny, and they're not going to give a public statement one way or the other. So I think it's possible, but I just seems to be that Bungie, the way they describe it seems to be more independent and not so much taking orders from Activision, so to speak. And I think Blizzard probably works under kind of that same kind of umbrella. So I would tend to think they're working on independent things. But you are right; it is interesting they would possibly have essentially 2 competing MMO type games.
And I also think it's very interesting that Destiny is actually the code name, like you said, for the overarching umbrella of titles. So this doesn't necessarily mean that the MMOFPS title is codenamed Destiny, which would conflict with what we've heard about Titan. So it's like Titan could be living under Destiny, which is kind of like this bigger picture of an idea of a new space. Really interesting stuff. I don't know. Any other interesting things coming out of this leaked contract that we actually got to check out?
It sounds like you're wearing your tinfoil hat, man.
I almost pulled it out. I was looking for it.
There's a lot of talk about like Bungie's royalties and bonuses. How Bungie's going to work on a sequel to Marathon, which is a popular Mac game from the 90s. But the one thing I want to put out is, right now, I want to be the first person to give Destiny a 9 out of 10.
Oh, look at you.
Because if it's said in the contract, if they score at least a 90 on GameRankings.com, Bungie gets another $2.5 million. So I want to be on the record as being the first person to support them, so I get my payoff a little more quickly. My checks from ArenaNet for hyping Guild Wars 2 haven't come yet, so I gotta make my money somehow.
Okay, well I'll give him a 9 out of 10 as well. I'll be number 2 on the list. There you go. So we're just jumping up the ranks right there. Hey, for all your video game news, keep it locked and dialed in right here to GameBreaker.tv all day, every day, and we'll keep you up to date on any more information we can find out about Destiny, Titan, and everything else MMO related. We'll see you next time.